What's up, everybody? My name's Jake Fletcher. I am going to review for you guys today my brand new 2019 Lexus UX250h. It's a brand new model of hybrid from Lexus. I'm about to hit 5,000 miles with it, so I thought it'd be a good time to review it, tell you guys my thoughts, what I like, what I dislike. So let's jump into it right now. All right, so let's start with the obvious, the outside first, okay? This isn't gonna be one of those watch me drive the car videos because those are lame, okay? Let's be honest. So first thing I want to talk about is the outside here. Let me flip this around. So I love the lines on this car, right? So this is a crossover SUV, right? But a lot of crossover SUVs in this segment are kind of boring, okay? I'm not gonna throw out any names, throw any shade, but I just love the aggressive lines and styling on this model. And this LED strip on the back for the brake lights goes all the way across, which distinctive, is very distinct and signifies that this car is, the one that you're seeing when you see it from behind. And, I love the lines and the overall styling. I love the luggage racks on top, which I use for my kayak. I haven't used it yet, just because I've been busy with my life. But, you got the check mark lights on the front. You have that nice big Lexus grille that it kind of has like a hyper speed Galaxy look to it, and some people don't like the grille. I personally love it. I think it's dope. One thing that threw me off originally was the wheel wells, that there's kind of this bigger kind of molding around the wheel wells. But now that I've been driving the car for almost 5,000 miles, it really doesn't bother me anymore. I actually kind of like it. It brings the whole look together, gives it a little bit more of a SUV type look. And I think it works with the car. Another thing I really like, when you follow this line back, swooping up into the tail lights here, you see this angle of the tail lights, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, Batmobile-y or something, boom. It's slick, man, and then you back up, boom, and you got the blue Lexus emblem there, signifying that it's a hybrid, as well as here you have the UX250h, and the 250h is blue, letting you know that it's hybrid. The back window looks like it would be a little bit small, but it's really not. Like, when you're inside of it, it's pretty big, it's big enough for sure. One thing I will say with the luggage rack though is you can see how, since I have a kayak, there's actually two settings for that front luggage rack. You can see the holes there, that it would be moved back a little bit. But I put it forward because of my kayak is a longer kayak, but it could technically be, more here-ish, which Lexus says, is the best position to reduce wind noise. I will say, when my interior sunroof flap is closed, I hear the wind noise less, but it's not so much wind noise that you hear it. You don't hear it below 40 miles an hour for sure. And even when you're above 40 miles an hour, you don't hear it unless that sunroof flap, I don't know what else to call it, but the thing in between the glass and the cabin that you open, I'll show you on the inside, but if that thing's closed, you don't hear the wind noise at all. When it's open, you do hear some wind noise when you're on highway speeds, but it's really not bad. So I love it. Also too, you have on the side mirrors, you have little indicators to let you know when there's somebody coming up on your side, which is very helpful. I love the rims of the car. I'm not a big rims guy, but I do dig them. One thing I do think that I would have liked on this model is on the back for the tailpipes. It kind of just has like a normal, regular tailpipe that you can see there. I like, kind of on like the NX 200s and 300 models, you have kind of like that sculpted metal metallic looking, like it almost looks like this material up here, this kind of metal-y trim, except for the tailpipe. I kind of like that. I think that would have been a nice touch, but I understand for the price point, maybe it didn't work out. So that's the outside. Let's go take a look on the inside. Oh, one more thing. nice little touch there with the Lexus on the taillight. All right, well, actually, you know what, while we're here, let's talk about the trunk, or as people in Europe call it, the boot. So it opens up like automatically. There's also a kick open feature, which when I got this car, I thought I would never use it. I actually used it like probably 4 times in the first week. It's actually pretty helpful. But a lot of people complain that the trunk is too high up. But it hasn't really been a problem for me. I'm also, you know, a strapping young lad that, you know, it doesn't really bother me to actually like have to lift stuff up to like a normal height. You know, it's definitely not the biggest trunk I've ever had, but I haven't had a problem fitting anything in here. I'm a realtor and all my signs and everything fit in here perfectly. One thing I do also like too is when I want to fold the seats down, I can do it one-handed, lift this up, boom, and then shaboom. And then both seats go down just like that, easy. I don't have to go around to the side, to the doors to put the headrests down. I can actually just, boom, do it right here from the back and put whatever I need to in there. And then as you can see, now we've got some serious space in here. And one thing too, they added this nice little kind of flap thingy here so that it's a nice seamless transition. If you're sliding stuff in, it's not gonna get hooked or trapped on something. It just slides in nicely. And nice little touch too are these lights here. You can see that was my first scratch that I got from my guitar case, boo-hoo, but that's a car, you know. It's got the lights on both sides. Another thing too, if I move this, since this is the hybrid, it's a little bit higher up. Supposedly on the non-hybrids, the trunk is a little lower. You have more cubic space. I do like this little area here where they've added some space to store some things. That's where I keep my reusable grocery bags and zip ties and first aid kit and just some random things that I keep. Also the little screen thingy there that if you wanna let everyone know that you're hiding something in your back seat or your back trunk, that you can use that. So that's the trunk. You know, and there's this little, you know, you have a cigarette lighter thingy there. You know, you have the little hooks here for that little shade thingy, and some, you know, little latches here to tie things onto as well. So pretty well designed back area there, I think. And of course you have the button to lock it open or to close it as well, and then it automatically comes down and it's dope. All right, let's jump on the inside of this car before it gets too dark, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I like and dislike about the interior. So first thing is that when you open the door, let me tilt it down a little bit here, boom, you do have a little bit of a sit down situation. I'm 6'1". It doesn't bother me, but I could see maybe if I was like, I don't know, in my 60s or something, or if I had bad knees, maybe it'd be a little bit low, especially considering it's supposed to be a crossover SUV. So if you have bad knees, maybe you want to go for an actual like full-size SUV. But for me, it doesn't bother me at all. Now, one thing too, supposedly Lexus has engineered like the best sounding door close. Let's see what you guys think. I like it. It's satisfying to me. You know, it is what it is. Let's start it up so you guys can check out the light show here when you start it up. Let's see if I can turn this wheel. Boom. So kind of a cool little light display going on. You know, you get a little message to obey the laws and stuff. Now, I could do a whole video on the I don't have navigation in my model, but the entertainment system here. But I will just say I love the analog clock. A lot of people are like here or there on it. I like it. The system, you can configure how you want it set up. So the way I have it set up, it shows me my hybrid display, my, you know, air conditioning and all that, and then my entertainment, my Bluetooth audio, etc. Okay. Now it's all controlled by what a lot of people don't like, this trackpad. I'm gonna go on the record as saying I freaking love the trackpad. I love the haptic feedback. I don't have to look at it at all while I'm using it and driving. I love it. I think that people who don't like it are complaining or not giving it a chance. And like, that's technology, man. That's the world. That's the future. You either adapt or die. So, you know, it's better than the wheel. It just is. My girlfriend has an NX200 with the wheel. I'm telling you for sure, the trackpad is better. So you have the menu button that takes you back to your menu. So if you're like in your, let me tilt it up. If you're in your like hybrid settings or whatever, and then you want to go back to your main menu, you just press menu. You also have that takes you to your like your apps, your if you want to project your phone to it, your climate control setup, you know, audio info, all that stuff, all that good stuff. So that's your menu button. Or you have the home button, which takes you back to how you have the screen oriented, okay? You also have a back button too, which just takes you back to the last screen that you were on. One of my favorite things about this car is this center console and how it's set up, okay? So you have a little volume wheel here. This is so dope. You don't have to lift your arm up here to, you know, change the volume or anything anymore. You just, where your arm is already at, you have your volume, you have your radio control, you have your media control to change your media, and then you have two little buttons here that also change the, like the track, for instance. Then you have a tune button that changes your radio. You can, you know, sift through your radio channels. It's amazing. Another thing that I love about this center armrest is there's two buttons. You can either open it this side, or there's a button on this side that you can open it the other way if you're like the passenger, right? So that's kind of cool. I mean, and another cool thing about it too is that they designed it so that your cable actually doesn't get trapped in the door. There's enough space there for it. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's this little thingy here that kind of like also guides it out. Another little like fine point too is like my cable, I can tuck it underneath that little control station there for my volume and all that, and just have it off to the side when I'm playing, you know, single player in my car, you know, and it just stays out of the way, so I don't have to like worry about tucking it anywhere and stuff. So little things like that are where I think this car really excels. Now, getting to the center console here, you have all your buttons laid out and stuff. You have your seat warmer, which surprisingly I've had on recently here in Miami because we've had what we consider a cold front, which is it's below 70 degrees. You have ventilated seats, which are amazing, especially in the summertime here in Miami. I freaking love the ventilated seats. You have both of those heated and ventilated seats on both sides in this model, and then you have the heated steering wheel as well with two selections. They get really hot, so you know they're great. They work great. You have your AC fan control, auto, turn it off. You know, controlling your window defogger stuff, which I never use in Miami, your whole car AC, etc., and then your your temperature controls as well. Your power button's blue. I'm guessing that's only on the hybrid as well, which is cool. Plenty of steering wheel controls, which are awesome. I use the phone call one a lot to bring up my phone. And let's see if you can see it here. When you press it, let me go actually use these, and you have all these scroll things that go through different menus and whatnot, right? So my phone's not connected, otherwise that would bring up my phone information, but you press that phone button and it brings up like your call log, so you can then use this button to scroll through and then click OK to call someone from your phone log. You have a back button that controls that screen as well, take you to the last screen, and then this button is a voice control button, and then you have your volume buttons here. On this side, you can turn the, make that straighter. You can turn your steering assist, lane assist rather, on and off with this. Let me focus that. If it is focused, let's see. Okay, well, I don't know if that's focused. Sorry if it's not. Let's see, it's not too focused, but either way, you have your lane assist, you have the front assist or front notification that you're like getting too close to cars in front of you. You have a mode that changes basically which radio or media that you're on, right? Then you also have your cruise control settings, and then you have these like track control, like change the track, change the song type things. Now, let's talk about the sunroof. So let me tilt it up here for you guys. Come on, Osmo. Here we go. Boom. So you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about with the luggage rack bars, the roof racks. This was the thing I don't know what this is called, but when this is closed, you don't hear that wind noise at all. When it's open, you don't hear it at all when you're on city streets, like 45 miles an hour and under. When you're on the highway though, you do hear it like this. And when the sunroof is actually open and you're going above about 40, you also hear a little bit of wind noise. But honestly, it's not a lot. It doesn't really bother me. I just love having a sunroof. So that's amazing. Now you can see here, let me tilt it down now. Boom, you got the perforations here for the ventilated seats, and that's how it delivers air to your body to cool you down, not just on the back, but also on your booty, okay? And that's pretty nice. I also like this little space up here that it's a nice little spot for my sunglasses for like a short period of time. This is where on some cars they have wireless charging. On this model it doesn't have it. I really wish that the wireless Qi charging came standard on all of the models. That would be super nice, but Lexus did not grace me with that feature on this car. And actually every single hybrid that I looked at, it did not have that Qi charging. So I don't know if it's only on the F Sport model or not or what, but I didn't find any models that had that wireless Qi charging, which would be really nice because sometimes I do put my phone there as well. And a lot of times actually while I'm driving, it'd be nice if it was charging without having to have it connected to the cable. But since the cable goes so seamlessly out of the armrest and it doesn't get hooked on anything and makes it rather easy, but wireless charging is the future, so come on Lexus, get with it. Standard Qi charging. As far as the F Sport, mine's not an F Sport. I didn't really feel like the need to go with an F Sport. It's a hybrid car. It's not a sports car. So I'm not expecting a sports car experience. However, what I will say is that these little knobs up here, this little knob, this changes your driving mode. Let me see if I can get in there a little better. So this changes your driving mode, and I actually really like it. So you have, let me see if I can get in there a little better. That's pretty good. So you have sport mode. You twist it up to get to sport mode, and you see it makes the dial go red. I'll go back so you can see sport mode. Boom, it turns red, right? That's normal mode, which you get by pushing it in. And then when you tilt down, you get eco mode. Let me see if I can get it all in one shot. So you tilt down and it all turns blue. So you're in eco mode. I find myself in eco mode a lot, and that's pretty dope. What I will say though is that I don't feel like it, I like the eco mode. Let me say this first before I move on. The sport mode, you definitely feel it. Like on the acceleration, it's got some pep to it. That extra little like 27 horsepower or whatever from the battery, you really feel it in the sport mode. So that's nice. I do like that. Sometimes I use it when I'm like making a quick little, cut from the center lane out of traffic onto a street, or from a street into the traffic or whatever, or on the on-ramp or something like that. It's definitely got its place. I barely ever use normal mode. I'm either using eco or I'm using sport mode. But the cool thing is you're driving, boom, boom, boom. It's easy enough to just boom, flip it up into sport mode, or boom, eco mode. So it's in a nice spot. I guess traction control is something some people use. I don't ever use it. But yeah, and then over here, you have like your odometer, trip stuff, and all that. Powered windows all around, which is nice. I do enjoy the powered windows. And one thing I also enjoy too is the interior color here. So it took me a while to find this interior color. The color is called glazed caramel, and the exterior color is called silver lining. I found a lot of cars that different exteriors with the glazed caramel, but it was really hard to find a silver one with the glazed caramel. My only options that I were finding were black or red or white at the time, which I really didn't want those colors for various reasons. Nothing against those colors, just wasn't what I was looking for. So I finally found a silver one with the glazed caramel, but it took me like 2 months. This was also when the cars were first coming out, so maybe it's easier now, but I really do love the color of the seats. And I still have my seats down in the back, so you can kind of see. Let me see if I can get it to forget my face here. You can kind of see now from this vantage point a little bit different perspective of how much room you have back there. It's pretty good, you know. One thing I will say is that my gas mileage, I haven't, you know, I reset this recently, and it's at 36 miles per gallon around city, but usually I'm around like 38 around the city. I'm not gonna lie, I've been you know, hitting the gas pedal a little bit more recently. So if you're a more aggressive driver, you can expect to get like 36 to 38. If I drive like super grandma status, then I can get around 40 miles a gallon around the city. I haven't been getting the 41 miles per gallon around the city that Lexus claims, but you know, maybe that's just because I'm in Miami and, you know, there's a sort of a community compelling nature to like accelerating faster and stuff like that. If you were like out in the country, you could probably get that 41. But it does get excellent gas mileage. And on the highway, I do get the 39 that's advertised, 38, 39. So that's nice. So yeah, another thing that I really like, and I'm just doing things in no particular order here, but I do like the washy dash. Let me see if I can get a little more light here. It's a little dark out here. I apologize for that. Not really, but you know, you can kind of get a sense that it's a little bit different of a fabric, different of a style. I do like it. I think it's nice. I think it's a nice touch. This is the first car by Lexus that was ever designed by a woman, which I think that you can definitely see a difference in design styles because things are so different about this car, and I think in a really good way. So I think more cars should be designed by women, see what happens, you know. I don't really genuinely think that there's that much of a difference between the genders, but I do think that, you know, it being designed by a woman definitely led to some different considerations, and it's interesting. So, you know, one, for example, is I've never seen a car that's so driver focused. Like the center console and everything, it might be hard to tell on the video, but it's angled towards the driver, which you don't see very often. So it's a very much a driver experience oriented vehicle, which I think is really super cool. You know, everything like down to all the convenience of, you know, the center console having the volume knob and all that stuff, I think is awesome. All the functionality on the steering wheel, that's all right there. I mean, you get that on other cars too, but I just think it's very well designed, very well put together, where the buttons are, how the buttons are designed, how they're laid out, the space between the buttons and how they take up space on the steering wheel is very well thought out. You know, just everything about the design of this car, I feel like Lexus did a really good job of designing it for a user, the end user's best possible experience. And, you know, it's excellent. Now, one thing probably, and if you stuck around to the end, this is a little treat for you, probably the thing that I probably dislike about this car the most is some of the materials in this car are a little bit delicate, okay? So I'll show you an example of what I mean here. So this is just from like my hand going to open the door. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like these really little faint scratches. Maybe you can kind of see it there from my nails, just when my nail might graze it. I'm not freaking Wolverine over here, but if my nail just kind of very, you know, gently grazes that surface there, it'll leave a mark sometimes, which is going to happen when you're going to reach for your handle. Like, let's be, you know, honest here. You know, you're going to sometimes make contact with your nail with the side of your door when you go open the freaking handle. So I thought that was kind of a little bit weird, you know. Also too, the screen, the first time I went to go scratch it and clean it, I scratched it. This is partly my fault because at the dealership they told me it was like Gorilla Glass, like a phone or something. You can't really see the scratch. It's on the clock there somewhere. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to see if I can make it visible to you guys. It's a very faint scratch, but moral of the story is that the glass on this screen is not as strong as your phone. You know, if you have a newer smartphone or something like that with Gorilla Glass, it's not as strong or scratch resistant as that type of glass. So caution to you on that. You know, but other than that, I do think that, like, you know, like this material here is a nice like hard plastic, but this is a little more softer. That's that stuff that kind of shows the marks and stuff. And then down here where you actually put your arm is very soft. So that's nice. You know, and the center console here is also very soft. So it's very comfortable to have your arm there. And yeah, you know, so let's, I'll talk about the back seat for a second. Let me pop it up. Another thing I like, you can pop that up from the front, you know? So if it's down and then you got some people that are hopping in your car, oops, sorry guys, that messed you up. But you can put the back seat up from the front seat, which I do like, okay? So if you have people hopping in your car, that's pretty nice. Then you have this little center thingy that comes down, and it does have a cup holder in it. Which is, you know, a nice feature. Tilt it down so you guys can see. Boom, so you got a little cup holder there. Nice feature. Haven't really used it yet, but you know, it's there for whenever it needs to get used. And boom. So one thing I will say too, and I'll step out for this. Let me keep those lights on. Makes it a little brighter, getting kind of dark out. But one thing I will say as well is that the back seat could have a little bit more room. I'm 6'1", so my back seat goes back pretty far. But let me see, let me get in and give you guys a little example. Like, I'm 6'1", so if another person is 6'1" behind me, their knees are, you know, almost touching the seat there. Now it's a nice soft leather, so it's not the end of the world, but you know, it's a little bit tight back here. Luckily, I don't have too many people getting into my back seat, and if I am doing something where there's people getting in the back seat, we just take my girlfriend's car because she has the NX200T, which is a little larger, you know, has a larger back seat. So, you know, you get a little bit more of a sporty type of like cockpit with the hybrid here, but you do, you know, you lose that bigger back seat. It's a little smaller of a vehicle. It's a crossover SUV. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You do have a little pocket here, which is nice. You know, I keep a listing presentation in there at all times since I'm a realtor. And you do have the nice soft material here on the back door for the back passengers, as well as the automatic windows, which I guess maybe I have them locked right now accidentally. I don't know how that happened, but either way. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. That's my review of the Lexus UX250h from 2019. It's almost 2020 when I'm making this video, so hopefully, you know, this is a relevant video for some of you guys and it helps you to make a good purchase. I'm sure the 2020 model will be slightly better. I don't know when it's going to be out, but you know, it's coming. And I think that I've seen a lot of these cars around Miami that are the non-hybrids. I think they're being a little more successful in the market than the hybrid edition is. But, you know, for me, since I'm owning this car versus leasing, it made sense long-term because I'll be saving money on gas within like a few years based on how many miles I drive. And also too, I do like the fact that I'm having a smaller footprint on, you know, my carbon footprint, whereas before I was driving a big SUV. It was a Toyota 4Runner getting like 17 miles a gallon. Now I'm getting like 37, 38, 39, sometimes 40 if I'm driving like a super grandma. And you know, that's nice. So it all has to start somewhere. We all have to play our part in, you know, trying to help out the environment and all that. So I think that's a really cool aspect of the car. Overall, I think it's an amazing car. I think if Lexus just tweaks a couple of those little, you know, material issues as far as the scratches on the door thing, and, you know, if they use actual Gorilla Glass for the center console glass, this is going to be a like 9.5 out of 10. Right now, I rate it at a 9 out of 10. 90% is not bad. I am very, very thrilled with this purchase. It was the right price point, and it's the right car for me. I'm looking forward to continuing driving it until, you know, many, many years from now. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review of the 2019 Lexus UX250h. I'm Jake Fletcher. I'm in Miami, Florida. If any of you guys ever need anything to do with real estate in Miami or worldwide, let me know. If you're in Miami, I'll take care of you personally. If you're anywhere else in the world, hit me up and I will connect you with the best in your area. So let me know what's up. Follow me on Instagram at jake.miami, and I'll catch you guys on my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, all right? Peace.